नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि 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 नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण नारायण हरि
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। हरि शरणं 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 हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि शरणं
हरि शरणं हरि
सरज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपी सति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे।
जैसिका मेरी आवाज आ रही है? जय श्री कृष्णा। आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू आर एबल टू हियर मी। कैन यू हियर मी? गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। My humble prostrations to Param Pujya Swami Govind Dev Giriji Maharaj on behalf of Gita Parivar of May L3 batch here for yet another interpretation session of 4. Let's begin the session with starting prayer, for which I call upon Srimati Beauty Bosji. She is a Bangalorean and MPhil in computer science. She is ex-head examiner CBSE Delhi with deep interest in listening to devotional songs. She has joined Gita Parivar in June 21 and feels blessed to serve Gita Parivar as as technical assistant, group coordinator, co-trainer, pracharak, exam of Jigyasu and calling migration saving. She has completed all 4 levels of learning and also cleared Jigyasu and Pathak exams with flying colors. Didi, please start the prayer. Unmute. Didi, unmute.
जय श्री कृष्ण शुभ सन्ध्या प्रार्थना वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। जय श्री कृष्ण सभी को।
Thank you, Didi. Mesmerizing poem.
धन्यवाद धन्यवाद दीदी।
Now we will start with Deep Prajwalan. By lighting a lamp in your heart, even the dark room will seem to be a bright one. So let's invoke our inner divinity with Deep Prajwalan by Dr. Mantaji. She resides in Agra and not only a PhD, but an influencer, motivator, life coach, tarot reader, browser, relationship expert, Reiki master, numerologist, Rudraksh expert. She finished her Gita Pathak exam in 2020 and since then serving as trainer for L1, L2, L3 levels. She is also L1 Tech and trainer for Jigyasu exams. She can be followed on the YouTube channel Gita for Life. Didi, Deep Prajwalan, please.
Didi, continue.
There is a
Didi.
जय श्री कृष्ण। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। परम पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। We are discussing Adhyaya 4, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Today we will try to conclude last session. Last time we have covered up to slok number 20. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिः प्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. Living, relinquishing, abandoning all attachment to the result of his activities, return the reward of his activities, that means karma phala, and one who is always satisfied and independent within himself. He does not perform any sakam karma, creative action, although he is engaged in performing all sorts of actions. This is what we had discussed last time. We move further. Nirashirta chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha sharirang kevalang karma kurvanna apnoti kilbisham. Now here Paramatma says that one who is already controlled his body, one who is bereft, who is devoid of any desires and expectations, and his mind and body is fully under his control, and he is perfectly balanced, then he performs all necessary actions, having given up all possessions and concept of ownership, kartrutva abhiman, and no bhuktrutva. So such a person, he incurs no sin. So the most important thing in this shloka, Paramatma says, is take control of your body and mind. Now it is easier to take control of your body than your mind, because mind is subtler than body. We have 5 senses of perception, 5 jnanendriyas, and the mind is regarded as the ruler of these senses. The mind in turn is governed by prana, pranavayu, prana, the vital life force that we have in us, without which our body is a dead body. So that vital life force, it governs the mind, and mind governs the senses. So if you want to rein in your senses, if you want to control your senses, then you need to bridle your mind first. Fix your mind first, unwavering. And if you want to control your body, then you need to regulate your prana. The question is, how do you have any knowledge about the functioning of prana? How do you know what is prana and how does it function? So, for you to be able to control prana, you first need to understand its functioning. What is the functioning of prana? How does the prana function? How it works in the body? And in order to learn the know-how of controlling your prana, you first need to purify and balance your body. And this is through the practice of asanas. So asanas is the beginning of any spiritual journey. Asanas will lead you to purification of pranas. See, if this body is the most important tool for your spiritual evolution. If the body is sick, you can't have that. And if you have not controlled the body, and if you have not controlled and mastered the body, you will be unable to master, to bridle your mind. So to control the mind, you should first perfect your body. Perfecting the body is through asanas. And asanas are meant for balancing the body and balancing the body's energy. Now the one who is in control of body, this is what Lord says, one who is in control of his body, whereas our current situation is that the body controls us. It is just the opposite. We meet many people wherein they are sick when you meet them, but after a few months, when you meet them, they have started recovering. Maybe they go to some Patanjali yogas, or they start doing some asanas, pranayamas and all that. So this is a perfect technique of repairing your body and consequently repairing your mind, and then starting your spiritual journey. The one who has gained the mastery over his body and with his resolve either start or stop the functioning of body of any part, he can have that kind of mastery. Yogis, they can stop their breath for months. We should not try that, of course. But there are people who can control their body to any extent, which is unimaginable for us. So Paramatma says that those who have controlled their body, for them, this yoga can be started. First, controlling the body through asanas, then pranayama, and pranayama makes your mind brittle, and then you can try to control your senses. So this is the ladder through which we have to go. Now the second point mentioned by Lord in this shloka is about the relinquishing of your possessions. Possessions. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Now this does not mean that you ought to throw all that you have owned so far. That does not mean so. Give up your house, give up your money, give up your utensils, give up your furniture. No. That is not the meaning of it. Keeping as much as is needed for the sustenance and maintenance of your body is not a sin. So that you must retain. But people have a tendency of collecting things of material pleasure. If I have one house, 2, 3, 4, no limit to that. I have one car, 2, 3, 4, no limit to that. So this Paramatma He is asking us to desist from this kind of tendency. So Shri Krishna keeps saying that again and again that don't run away from your responsibilities in the name of God. Keep doing your karma. Keep collecting money, nothing wrong in that. But it is for your sustenance. Don't be greedy about it. Rather, he says that transform your worldly duties from being tedious to being source of divine joy. So whatever activity you do, even for the materialistic world, do it with joy. This is what Paramatma says. Slok 22. Yadruchalava santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhava siddhaucha krutva pinanibadhyate. Content with whatever you have and whatever comes out of its own accord. Yadrucha, without wishing. Yadrucha, lava santushto, being satisfied with the gains which come on its own accord, with no special efforts for gain from your side. In Hindi, अपने आप जो मिलता है, यदृच्छा लाभ संतुष्टो. So this is one, and then dvandvatita, all dualities, free from all dualities, dvandvatita, and devoid of all malevolence, all matsar, and equipoised in success and failure. Yadruच्छा लाभ संतुष्टो dvandvatito vimatsara samasiddhava siddhocha. Siddhi or asiddhi, favorable or unfavorable, you remain equipoised. That is samasiddhava siddhocha. Such a person is not bound despite performing his actions. So this qualification, yadruच्छala, dvandvatita, vimatsaraha, and samasiddhava siddhocha. If we attain these qualities, then we don't get bound by our own karmas. He is satisfied with whatever comes to him effortlessly. He has no desire, no expectations, but actions keep happening through him. And he is not content with the consequences, irrespective of what they are. Neither despondent in defeat, nor very, very boastful in victory. Samasiddhava siddhocha. Now, let us check where we stand. The fact is that slightest achievement, it fills us with pride, and slightest failure fills up with despair. So this is not siddha or siddhocha sammo. This is not that. Even a very, very trivial victory or success makes you want to shout aloud on the rooftop. You gloat, you boast, and some even get photos printed in the newspaper that he has achieved so much. And some sundry come to know about your achievement. So everybody comes to know your about achievement, whether it's connected to your note. What is the point in publishing in the paper? You tell your relatives, friends, that is enough, no? But publishing in the newspaper. On the other hand, even the most insignificant failure or defeat makes you totally despondent. You feel ashamed, and then you try to hide from people. So Paramatma doesn't support this kind of behavior. This is the art of living, wherein you do all appropriate, virtuous, righteous deeds, but with the non-doer attitude. No kartrutva abhiman. And when you are the non-doer, you are the non-bearer of consequences of your actions. You have not done it because you are non-doer. It happened through you. You are observing it only as a witness. You are not a doer. When you are a non-doer, then how can the consequences of your karma will bondage you? So, Paramahansa says, I am nothing and nothing belongs to me. This is what attitude we should have. And then who will be affected by that disparagement? What will be the significance of respect or disrespect then? He can treat everything as samasiddhava siddhocha. Once he has this attitude of not doing anything by himself, when he has no kartrutva abhiman, when he knows that he is not a non-doer, he is a non-doer, then nothing binds him. So the self-realized man has no expectation from this world, and thus he lives in the present moment without labeling it as good or bad. Only the present moment exists for him. There is nothing before it, there is nothing after it. We either live in the past or we live in the future. We rarely live in the present. So the past has become nothing, and the future also has no existence in the present moment. We don't know what is the future holding now. So why to worry about it now and spoil our present? all that is the present moment and thus live in the present. Slok 23. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasaha yajnaya charatah karma samagram praviliyate. Gata sangasya. The one who is unattached to the material world. Sangasya is attachment. Gata is gone. He has left all asaktis, all attachments. So the one who is unattached to the material world, who offers all actions as a yajna, as a sacrifice to the divine, and who is firmly established in the transcendental knowledge, spiritual knowledge, all actions of such a liberated being get dissolved. Gatasangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasa yajnaya charata karma samagram praviliyate. Praviliyate is dissolved, gone. So the Lord beautifully describes the attributes of self-realized man here. Devoid of worldly attachments, Gatasangasya, established in the knowledge and performing all actions as if he is performing a yajna. So whatever action we do, if we perform with this sentiment that we are performing a yajna, that is what the Lord is expecting in this shloka. Now let us understand that yajna does not mean the ritualistic or that oblation, havan that we do in the Agni, in the fire. That yajna is not referred here. The term yajna has been used as a metaphor wherein all actions are offered, dedicated into divine, just as the offering. Whatever I am doing, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. That is the attitude we should have for all actions that we perform. And offerings are made in the external ritualistic yajna, not in that fire. Whatever I think, whatever I do is for the divine, by the divine, for the divine. So this is the attitude we should have. This is called yajna in Bhagavad Gita. Now yajna means virtuous actions, acts of merit, actions which are dedicated to the Lord. And let us remember that even a seemingly low act of like sweeping the floor can become a yajna. Sweeping the floor can become a yajna if you perform it joyously and dedicating it to the divine. You clean the place in a temple and enjoy that once. Try it once. Likewise, when the activities like cooking, eating, walking, talking also can become a yajna, provided we do it joyously and offer it to the divine. See, the attitude changes when you do so-called worldly activities. And it is different when you perform any religious or ritual activities. Both have different. Now, whatever the task is, be it physical, emotional, mental, or intellectual activity, when you do it without attachment or having dedicated to the Lord, then every activity becomes a yajna. Generally, we see people don't enjoy their work. So the lady of the house cooks in irritation sometimes, and serves in anger. Something has happened, so she is angry. Okay. So she derives no joy whatsoever and regards cooking as an unwanted activity. Instead, the attitude of the cook, then be it a woman or a man, should be such that it is being cooked for the Lord, and while serving, don't see if the person is related to you or not. You like him or you dislike him. Rather, see the divine reflecting in every face and thus feeding the person lovingly. Then the cooking, the serving becomes a yajna. So this is the yajna according to Bhagavad Gita. And one who performs this yajna, he does not get bound by his karmas, by his activities. Slok 24. Brahmarpanam brahmahavir brahmagnau brahmana hutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Now in next few slokas, Paramatma is going to explain us 12 types of yajnas. 12 types. Even if we follow one of them, we will be a changed person. Brahmarpanam brahmahavir brahmagnau brahmana hutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Many people recite this shloka while taking food. The oblation is Brahma. Whatever offering you are making in the yajna is Brahma. The person making the oblation too is Brahman, is to Brahma. Brahma is all the offerings made into that fire. See, Brahmarpana. Arpana is the utensil with which you offer it in the Agni of Yajna. So that utensil through which you are offering is Brahma. The material that you are offering, whether it is ghee or wood pieces, chandan pieces, whatever you are offering the fire is also Brahma. The person who is offering is also Brahma. And which, thus the Brahma is attained. And whatever you attain after doing all this is also Brahma. So everywhere this person is seeing Brahma only. Like a jaundiced person sees yellow thing everywhere. So he sees Brahma everywhere. So this is a well-known shloka which is chanted by traditional sannyasis and even some householders before they eat their meals. This food is Brahma. The one who eats is also Brahma. The fire which will digest the food is also Brahma. The resultant energy from that food is also Brahma. Thus the Brahma is interacting with Brahma. Everything is Brahma. Food is consumed by the body. The one who identifies with this body and one who sees himself as Brahma, but there is a huge difference between the two. If you want to understand this shloka in the context of ritualistic meaning of the word yajna, that means the sacrifice of some material in the Agni, that yajna, traditional yajna, what we call it, then by igniting a that sacred fire and pouring offerings like clarified butter, to ghee, the incense sticks in that, then Lord is saying the material being offered into the fire is Brahma. The sacrificial fire is Brahma. The one who makes this offering is Brahma. The one who chants the mantra is Brahma. And the fruits of this yajna is also Brahma. The one who leads his life in this way, seeing Brahma everywhere, in every form, in every event, in every action, in every person, he is always in a state of samadhi. He sees Brahma everywhere. Such a person does not have to take any efforts to sit in samadhi at any specific time. He is in samadhi all the time, whether he is working or is not working, because he is working with that kind of view in mind. Whether his eyes are closed or open, he is always absorbed in the divine, the supreme Brahma. So this is Brahmarpanam Brahmavir, Brahmagno Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. This is one type of yajna. Next, slok 25. Daivameva pare yajne yoginah paryupasate, Brahmagnama pare yajne yajne naivopajubhati. Some yogis, they engage in worshipping by offering different sacrifices to the demigods, where Yanis offer knowledge as sacrifice by the Brahma in the fire of Brahma. So the Lord says there are some yogis who worship deities or demigods by offering that sacrificial oblation, that refined butter or incense sticks or whatever, into that fire and chanting the mantras. But other yogis do not engage in this kind of ritualistic concept of yajna. Their yajna is different. What they do, for them being in steady remembrance of Brahma is yajna. So they always remain absorbed in Brahma. So for them, this is yajna. This is second type of yajna. Now third type of yajna. Shrotradini indriyanyanye sayyama agnishyobhati. Shabdadin vishayanyanya indriya agnishyobhati. Shrotradini indriyanyanye. Shrotra. So we have 5 jnanendriyas and 5 karmendriyas. So Shrotra is one, eyes, ears, nose. So these are all the jnanendriyas we have. Now Paramatma says that there are some people, some attain control of their senses by offering the senses such as hearing, Shrotra, as a sacrifice in the fire of self-control, Sayyam. Sayyam is Agni. Sanyam is fire. When you offer your senses in that Agni of Sanyam, some people perform that kind of yajna also. Whereas others, they offer the sense objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the sense objects. Every sense has object. Eyes have object of seeing. Ears have object of sound, Shabda. So, some people, they offer these sense objects as a sacrifice in the fire of senses. That is experiencing the sensory world without any attachment. That is offering in the fire of senses. Eyes are there, so they will continue to see, but whatever they are seeing, it doesn't go inside us. That is sacrificing the sense objects in the senses. Sense and sense objects, when they meet, they will continue to work. Whether we absorb it in our antakaran or not is up to us. So when we see outside things and keep them outside, then we are sacrificing our sense objects in the senses. The fact is that once one attains self-realization, then whatsoever that person does becomes a yajna. In short, this is the definition of yajna. The Lord says that some yogis, they attain control, restraint over their senses, ears, nose, eyes, these senses, and prevent them from interacting with their sense objects. This was that Shrotra Dini and Sanyamagni, first line of the shloka. And other yogis offer the sense objects as a sacrifice in the fire of senses, which again is a yajna. For example, the ears listening to the sound is in effect a sacrificial yajna of the sound in the ears. We are offering the sound in the ears. Likewise, eyes seeing colors and forms is in effect the yajna of colors in the eyes. Similarly, be it eating, be it walking, is all yajna. Is all yajna. This is amazing. On one hand, yogis perform a yajna by exercising self-control, self-restraint over his senses and preventing them from interacting with the sense objects. This was the Shutradinane Saimagana Shijupati, first line. And on the other hand, the other is experiencing the sensory world through his sense organs. Shabdadin Vishanini Indriya Shijupati. Indriya and Indriya objects, sense and sense objects, they are meeting each other, fine. So some other people, they don't stop their senses from going to the sense objects. Their yajna is, senses are meeting the sense objects, but the reaction, resultant reaction doesn't enter into them. So they are offering the sense objects in the senses. So this is the yajna. But both these practices, whether it is restraining the mind or restraining the senses, preventing their interaction with the sense objects or allowing the senses to interact with the sensory world, are in effect yajna, or both are yajnas. This is because the actions are being performed with a non-doer attitude. I am not the doer. With that attitude, you perform the actions and without any attachment or aversion. So any such activities which I perform, then that comes in the category of yajna. That means what you do is not important, but how you do it and with what attitude. Now that is of paramount importance. One becomes renunciate, sannyasi, and there is no ego in his renunciation. Then this renunciation becomes a yajna. The other does not renounce the sensory world. Instead, he interacts and interplays with the sensory world, but with the attitude of detached witness as a non-doer. Hence, this way of experiencing and interacting with sensory world is also yajna. So sannyasi, taking sannyasi is also yajna, and a person living, a family person like us, he can also perform yajna living in this very world. So Shri Krishna is saying that one whose mind is devoid of attachments, who has the attitude of non-doer, such an individual opting to experience and interplay with this material world, with the sensory world, is also a yajna. So we can perform yajna in our day-to-day activities also, as simple as that. And the other who opts to withdraw his senses from the sense objects. Example is tortoise, withdraw all its limbs into the shell. That withdrawal of senses from sense objects is also yajna. 27. Sarvani karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyama yogagno juvvati jnana deepite. Sarvani indra karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyama yogagno juvvati jnana deepite. Sarvani, all indrani, senses. Karmani, actions of senses. Prana karmani, functions of our life breath, life energy, prana. Atma Sanyama Yogagno, in the fire of self-restraint. Atma Sanyama is the Agni itself. Jnana Deepite, in the light of spiritual knowledge, wisdom. So Paramatma says another yajna in this shloka. Others offer the activities of all sense organs and interaction of prana. Interaction of prana, the breathing that we do is our prana, the vital life force, as an oblation into the knowledge illuminated fire of yoga, which is established in the supreme divinity. So this is also one yajna. Now there are yogis who stabilize and establish the senses in the mind and the mind in the prana. They establish senses in the mind and mind is established in the prana. So this is also a sort of yajna. So some yogis sacrifice, offer all the actions of their senses, indriya karmani, and all actions of their life energy, prana karmani, in the fire of self-restraint, atma sanyam, which is ignited, created by the light of spiritual wisdom. The sanyam can come only through spiritual wisdom. Sanyam doesn't come to ordinary people like us unless we have that spiritual wisdom in us. Then only we can have that fire of Agni in us, in which we can sacrifice indriya karmani and prana karmani, both. Shlok 28. Dravyajnastapo yajna yoga yajnas tatha pare swadhyaya jnana yajnyascha yataya samshita vrataha. Dravya yajna, the sacrifice, donations, one possessions like say money, clothes, food, all sorts of charities that we do, but that should be earned through legitimate means. So that is Dravya yajna. Tapo yajna. What is tapo yajna in our life? We don't go to tapa, we don't stand on one leg like tapasvis do. So full devotion to the God of your choice, you follow the subject, you follow some rules, of the day-to-day behavior, whether it is Chaturmas or Ekadashi. This is one yajna, tapo yajna. Another tapo yajna is while performing your day-to-day activities, while performing your prescribed duties, your kartavya karma, you come across a lot of difficulties. Some favorable situations, some unfavorable situations. Handling all those situations and still continuing with your swakarma, your prescribed duty, is a tapa for us. So day to day, whatever prescribed duties we perform towards our friends, relatives, parents, there are difficulties coming, of course. But ignoring those difficulties, when we continue to perform our duties towards them, that is also a tapa. Yoga yajna. Yogas are of many types. Hatha yoga, Ashtanga yoga. This is also a yoga yajna. And yoga yajna is also the samatha yoga yajna. Samatha yoga means remaining equipoised in all situations of say respect or disrespect, profit or loss. This is yoga yajna. Samatha yoga. Yoga is samatha yoga, which is described at length in several shlokas in Bhagavad-Gītā. So dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna. Swadhyaya. What is swadhyaya yajna? Swadhyaya yajna is self-analysis of your own actions. Swadhyaya. Self-study. Study of self. And preaching or telling about whatever you have learned about say Gita, about Ramayana, about Vishnu Sahasranam, sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge with others is also a swadhyaya yajna. There is a phrase here used in this word, in this shloka. Dravya yajna tapo yajna, yoga yajna tatha pare, swadhyaya jnana yajnashcha yataya samshita vrataha. Now what is the samshita vrataha? Samshita vrata, it's a very famous phrase used in Vedas. It consists of 5 controls which you should have. One is non-violence, truth, non-stealing, celibacy, and refrain from hoarding, aparigraha vritti. So non-violence, truth, non-stealing, celibacy, and refraining from hoarding. This is called yama. These 5 things are called yama, and people who follow this yama, they are called samshita vrata. So this is samshita vrata. So some offer the wealth and their possessions, others offer their austerities, and others offer their practice of this 8-fold yoga, what we discussed, as a yajna. Whereas others offer the study of Vedas, Gita, Ramayana, and all that, the knowledge as a yajna. So in this shloka, the Lord is listing the various yajnas. Dravya yajna, if it involves offering the wealth or objects for the benefit of other people. The person earns money and then uses part, not all, of what he has earned for charitable purpose, puts it forward in the service of the needy people. And let us remember that not everyone can do this yajna. Just as not everyone can do the other yajnas, which we have discussed so far. So everybody cannot keep on donating. It depends on how much he earns and how much he needs for himself. So this is another type of yajna. Paramatma is describing this shloka. Now we go to 29. 29 shloka. Apane juvati pranam prane panan tatha pare pranapanagati rudhva pranayama parayana. So some people pranapanagati rudhva pranayama parayana. Pran is the breath going outward and apan is the breath coming inward. If you hold your breath, that is ahuti, that is sacrificing in apan. That is called purak. We do pranayam, we inhale. So if you hold your breath in apan, that is purak. Similarly, if you hold breath in your breath, that is in prana, that is called rechak. And if you stop both prana and apan, then that is called kumbhak. So we do this pranayam. Many of us do this pranayam. We inhale, purak, we hold it, kumbhak, and then we exhale, that is rechak. The count generally is 4 count for purak, 16 counts for kumbhak, and 8 counts for rechak. So this is also called yajna. This is also called yajna. Inhaling, holding, and exhaling the breath is also called yajna, cleansing of mind and body. So some yogis offer apanavayu in pranavayu as a yajna, while others offer pranavayu in apanavayu as a yajna. Some other yogis sees the functioning of prana and apan, thus perfecting the practice of pranayama. This too is a yajna. So this is another type of yajna Paramatma explains in this shloka. Slok 30 is explaining another type of yajna. What is Slok 30? Apare niyatahara pranan pranesha juvati sarvepyete yajnamito yajnakshapita kalmashaha. Other yogis who consume a well-regulated diet, niyatahara. Niyatahara is important. So they consume a very well-regulated diet. They offer prana into prana. What does it mean? We'll see. All such yogis whose sins have been destroyed by yajnas are the true knower of yajna. Apare niyatahara pranan praneshu juvati sarvepyate yajnavido yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Yajna that burns our kalmashaha, our papas. Now it is holding of prana by prana. This is called stambha vritti pranayam. That means absolute restraint of the breath. Wherever the breath is, you hold it there only. Maybe very difficult. We should not try it without a guidance. That is called stambha vritti pranayam. Example is, we see frogs. In the rainy season, we frogs everywhere. But when the summer starts, all the frogs, they disappear somehow. They almost become dead and they hide themselves deeply in the sand somewhere. If you move it, it doesn't move also, that frog. But next year when the rains come, that dead looking frog also starts jumping again. So they hold the pranas. So there are some yogis who can hold pranas for days, for months, for years. That is called Stambhavati Pranayam, and that is also a sort of yoga. So in this, we have to have control over diet and appetite, and the one who eats without being attached to the food, and the one who offers merges prana into prana. That is that pranayama. That is also called a yajna. Performing of these yajnas of prana gets purified of all of our sins. Yajna kalmashaha. Slok 31. Yajna shishtamrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam nayan lokosti yajnasya udonyah kuru sattamam. Now Lord says, Yajna Shishta Amrita Bhujo, Yajna Shishta, the result of such performance of Yajna, Amrita Bhuja. Amrita Bhuja, those who have tasted such nectar of Yajna. Yajna is a nectar. Yanti, Yanti, to reach, to approach. Sanatanam, eternal atmosphere. Kuru Sattama is calling for Arjuna, Kuru Sattama. So the Arjuna, such yogis who have tasted the nectar of knowledge, as a result of performing these yajnas, they attain eternal supreme Lord. Yadhishtamrita bhajo yanti Brahma. Brahma is supreme. So they attain that Brahma through these yajnas. Even this material world is not a source of joy. For those who do not perform any kind of yajna, those who do not perform any of these 12 types of yajna, they do not perform their prescribed duties. For them, Paramatma is saying, who do not perform this yajnas, even this material world is not a source of joy for them, then how can they receive joy of other paraloka, sublime world after death? So such an individual who does not perform yajna cannot attain joy even living in this material world. Then how can he expect or hope for any heavenly joys after the death of his body? Cannot. This means create your practice right here and now on this earth and with this very body what you have. Do not harbor any negativity for anyone, neither for yourself nor for anyone else. No negativity, absolutely. And then do not question others' demerits. Just accept what everyone behaves as per their innate nature. Don't keep commenting on others. Don't do this, do that. He is behaving as per his innate nature. You have no right to comment on him. And then they behave as per their prakriti. Simply move on. Accept it and move on. Do not harbor any kind of aversion also for anyone. See, the moment a thought arises in your mind that such and such person is bad, you create an impression in your mind and that keeps running in your mind about that person. You end up wasting your time and energy. And what do you achieve in this? Nothing. So, Paramatma says, don't harbor this kind of sentiments of criticizing others. All that you are seeking is right within you. Brahma is within you. But as long as you do not realize this, you will remain a pauper. So we can be very, very rich when we recognize Brahma within ourselves, or we can remain a pauper. Thus carry out your yajna and perform actions which should be attachmentless and expectationless, and then accept whatsoever you perceive choicelessly. This is the message. Slok 32. Evam bhavida yajna vidata brahmano mukhe karmajan viditan sarvani vaidnyatva vimokshase. Having explained all these 12 yajnas, now Lord is saying to Arjuna that all these different types of yajnas have been explained in detail in Vedas. Brahmano mukhe, Vedas. Understand that these are created by the activities of body, senses, and mind. These are the tools for performing any kind of these 12 yajnas. There are some other yajnas also explained in Vedas, as Lord says. And thus knowing that they are all born of action, you need to do some karma if you want to perform yajna. When you understand this, that your karma is a yajna, and you perform your karma as a yajna only, then you will be liberated of all your bondages. So the one who regards his entire life to be yajna, who surrenders to the Lord and performs all actions bereft of attachment, devoid of attachment and egoism, such an individual, his life is full of joy, equanimity, and peace. What else we want? We want joy, equanimity, and peace of mind. And when this mortal body drops off, that means when we die, he merges, dissolves into the eternal supreme Brahma, never to come back again on this earth. The Lord says, I have described all the yajnas described in Vedas to you, Arjuna. Shri Krishna has further explained a wide variety of different yajnas in these 3-4 shlokas what we have read today. The issue is not which yajna you choose to do. The important point is that you lead your life with a choiceless awareness, wherein you surrender to the cosmic energy. That means to the Brahma, for a Brahma, where you are not the doer even for a single moment. You are not the doer. So leave kartrutva abhiman, leave bhoktrutva, and perform your duty as a prescribed duty, as your kartavya karma. That is a yajna you are performing in your day-to-day life. The attitude of being non-doer strengthens. When you have the attitude that is, I am the doer, mere karan ho raha hai, I am the doer. What happens? It strengthens your ego. And the egoistic people can never be full of joy. Furthermore, the ego will lead you to surfacing of Rajasi and Tamasi gunas within you. So they lead to Rajasi and Tamasi gunas, your ego. So do everything as a non-doer and get rid of this Rajogun and Tamogun as well. This higher knowledge is not meant for the self-centered Rajoguni or Tamoguni people. It is meant for those who are Sattvaguni, filled with devotion and who have surrendered to the Lord. Slok 33. Shreyan dravyamaya adhyajna jnana yajna parantapo sarvam karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Now in this shloka, Paramatma says, Shreyan dravyamaya adhyajna jnana yajna parantapo sarvam karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Arjuna, Jnana Yajna, the sacrifice of offering knowledge, is far, far superior to Dravya Yajna. We have seen what is Dravya Yajna, what is Jnana Yajna and all that. This is because all karmas, all actions ultimately culminate in knowledge, in Jnana. So Jnana is the ultimate destination of all your karmas. Knowledge is the culmination point of all your actions. Shri Krishna is saying in this shloka that Jnana Yajna is the way superior to Dravya Yajna. Offering some donations to people or doing some work here and there, okay, fine, that is also good. But Jnana Yajna is much superior to that Dravya Yajna, because Jnana Yajna leads to fulfillment of worldly desires only. The Dravya Yajna, I mean. While Yajnas like Dravya Yajna, Japa Yajna, Tapo Yajna, Ahimsa Yajna, etc., are all good in their way. Paramatma is criticizing those. They are all good in their way. But in essence, they are all external tools. They are the actions which are taking for the outside world. Whether it is Dravya Yajna, or whether it is Japa Yajna, whether it is Tapo Yajna, whether it is Ahimsa Yajna, whatever Yajna. So they are in essence are all the external tools meant for purification of Antakaran. They lead to purification of Antakaran, no doubt. The only one whose Antakaran has been purified is eligible to receive this Jnana Yajna, higher knowledge. That means all these yajnas are the tools which help one to acquire the requisite eligibility to receive knowledge, that means to perform Jnana Yajna. So all yajnas, what we discussed, Dravya Yajna, Tapo Yajna, Yoga Yajna, all they are meant, they are the tools so that you can achieve the status of performing a Jnana Yajna. And all these yajnas are in a way preparations for the final yajna that we need to perform, that is Jnana Yajna. Jnana Yajna, eradication of all your ignorance, that is Jnana Yajna. Yogis like Japa, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Raja Yoga, Raj Yoga, they help, they definitely help the mind. They definitely help the mind to become centered and purified. But ultimately, everybody's objective should be to remove the ignorance. That is perform the Jnana Yajna. Shri Krishna is saying that all other yajnas are preparatory tools for performing the higher yajna, that is Jnana Yajna. See, the Lord is not demeaning, not berating other yajnas. These yajnas are important and essential because it is by performing them that one acquires the requisite eligibility needed to perform the Jnana Yajna. So it is also important to remember that Jnana Yajna, though the topmost in the list, other yajnas are the steps leading to the top. Now the traditional way of obtaining Jnana, Paramatma is explaining. Slok 34. Tadvidya pranipatedah pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti jnanastatpadarshinaha. Lord says to Arjuna, okay, I have explained to you all this. But if you don't believe me, if you want to consult some other expert, please feel free. Try to understand this knowledge from an enlightened master. Tatpadarshinaha, enlightened master, by sincerely inquiring. Tadvidya pranipatana, go offer your namaskara to him, render service to him. Sevaya, the one who has realized the truth can instruct you in attaining this knowledge. Then he will impart this knowledge to you. You can go, this is another route of obtaining the knowledge. Go to a Jnani and understand from him about the knowledge. The Lord says that go to a master, but following the requisite protocol. What is the protocol? Observing the requisite decorum. And the right behavior, right protocol means surrendering oneself to the master. Only then you should ask the requisite questions which will make you understand and which will lead you to eradicating your ignorance. That means obtaining your knowledge. But the basic intelligence is needed to know what questions to put forth to the master. Basic intelligence has to be there in you. For that, you have to have some self-study. You need to do some study of Adhyatma, spiritualism, before you go to a master. Otherwise, you end up asking some useless, meaningless questions to the master. Waste of his time and your time as well. A fool will only ask foolish questions. So let us not be fool. There needs to be some kind of some foundation of knowledge before you can ask some pertinent, relevant questions. So Krishna is saying, go to the master, following the appropriate traditions, and then put forth the appropriate questions. Again, following the decorum. Then the master will impart such knowledge that will reveal the truth, the ultimate truth to you, the truth which is beyond the senses, beyond the mind, and beyond the intellect, and it will eradicate all your ignorance. And this is another way of obtaining the knowledge. Slok 35. Yajñatmana punarmoham evaya sisi pandavo yena bhutanya sheshena drakshasya atmanyatho mai. Now, having obtained this knowledge, higher knowledge from that Tatpadarshanaha, from that yogi, from that Jnani, you will never be deluded again. What is the delusion in the mind of Arjuna? Fight or not fight? They are my friends, my relatives. Should I do it or not do it? So, this kind of delusion will never come again in your mind. Because this knowledge will enable you to see that all the living beings are but a part of you. Your own real self, which is none other than the eternal bliss, part of Paramatma, truth, all pervasive, super Brahma. So you will get this knowledge from that Tattva Darshanaha, that Yajñatmana Punarmoham Evam Yasis Vandava Yena Bhutanya Asheshena. All, no shesh, all. So the Lord is saying to Arjuna that having obtained this supreme knowledge, you will attain the supreme Chaitanya. How? The Lord says, through your own intellect, you will glimpse the supreme Brahma in your own Atma. That is the knowledge you will obtain. You will experience this veritable truth that the fragment of Brahma is within you. Slok 36. Apichedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah sarvaijnanaplavenaivam vrijinam santarishyasi. Now, even if you are the most sinful of all sinners, apichedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah. Amongst all sinners, you are the most sinful person. The raft of knowledge will undoubtedly ferry you across the ocean of sins and miseries. Apichet sudaracharo bhajate mam nindabhag sadhurivasa mantra samyak vavasito saha apichet disi papebhya sarvebhya papa krutva sarvai jnana plavenevam. Sarvai jnana plavenevam, the raft, the boat of Yajna. The boat of Yajna, the raft of Yajna will ferry you across this vrijinam santarishyasi. Vrijinam, this ocean of sins and miseries. So the Lord says, don't fret, don't worry about how bad you were in your previous karmas. Don't worry about the sanskars of previous karmas lying in your subconscious mind. Forget about all that. Just contemplate upon the higher knowledge, and once you can sit in this ferry of knowledge, remain assured that you will get across this ocean of sins and miseries. Never ever doubt about this. The best example we see in our mythology is about Valmiki, Maharshi Valmiki. He was a robber, he was a killer, he was a murderer in his previous karmas. But once he obtained the knowledge, all his previous things got washed out, got burnt, and he led the life of a Maharshi. So whatever sinful act you might have committed in the past, once you obtain this knowledge, everything gets burnt, everything gets wiped out, and you are on a totally different path altogether. Apicedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittama sarvai jnana plavenevam vrijinam santarishyasi. Slok 37. Yathaidan samidhogdhir bhasmasat kurudhe arjuna jnanagnis sarva karmani bhasmasat kurudhe tatha. Now this is another example Paramatma is giving, that after obtaining this knowledge, it is like just as blazing fire reduces all the fuel to ashes. The fire is burning, you offer wood to it, you offer paper to it, everything gets turned into ashes. Likewise, Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge. It reduces all your karmas into ashes. No karmas will again bind you. All karmas turn into ashes with this Jnanagni, this fire of knowledge. So once this fire of knowledge blazes within you, it will reduce all your actions, meritorious and unmeritorious, sakam, nishkam, everything, sattvic, rajasi, tamasi, all karmas to ashes. Just as a fire does not discriminate and burns all types of fuels, likewise the fire of knowledge, it burns all karmas and samskars indiscriminately. Indiscriminately is important. But here it is important to understand what is knowledge. Reading or listening to the words of knowledge is not knowledge. Only when you gain first-hand experience of that transcendental knowledge, that in effect is real knowledge. You have to experience it, not by reading and writing, but experiencing within yourself. As you keep on practicing, as you keep on listening, as the mind starts to become quieter and quieter, and eventually when it becomes completely stilled, completely thoughtless, then the awakening of that Chaitanya, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, happens. And this Nirvikalpa Samadhi is Gyan. So this is Gyan. And we are all striving for this Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Gyan, the higher knowledge. Hence, we should know that as long as Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa, with no desire, no spruha, no icha, that kind of Samadhi does not occur. As long as this does not occur, till that time your karmas, your samskars are not going to get destroyed just by reading or listening to the word of knowledge. You yourself should enter into that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, then only these karmas will get burned. By reading some Gita Vivechan or by listening to some Vivechan or by seeing some YouTube article, this will not get burned. You have to do it yourself. You have to practice it yourself. Words of knowledge are akin to signal posts that we see on the highways. They guide the travelers, which shows the path and directs him to the destination. But that is not the destination. These are just the signposts. Likewise, these Vivechanas or this YouTube or whatever things you hear here and there from experts, these are all the signposts. They will drive, they will show you where to lead, where to go. That is not the destination. The destination, the goal is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and all these things are our signposts for that. Slok 38. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramihi vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. In this world, there is no purifier like higher transcendental knowledge. Paramatma is praising the importance of knowledge. And this knowledge is experienced by one whose mind is absolutely purified and who is himself perfected in yoga, samatha yoga. In this context, let us understand that Gyan and yoga are not two different paths. Gyan is different, yoga is different. No, they are not different. But rather they are complementary to each other. Yoga is very much a part of Jnana because Raja Yoga imparts the optimal level of mental purity and single pointed concentration required for becoming eligible to understand the higher knowledge. So we have to prepare. That means if you cannot say that you are treading on the path of Jnana Yoga, you have nothing to do with Yam, Niyam, Asanas, Pranayama. You cannot say that. These are all the steps which you have to follow. You have to cross. We have discussed how to control your mind. The route is through asanas, pranayamas and all that. So these are the necessary steps which you have to follow. If one listens to the knowledge with the impure antakaran, then all that will happen is that his ego will get further bolstered, will get further bigger. And hence, he will end up getting further entrenched or further bondaged in his karmas. Ego is very bad for that. So half knowledge and with impurified antakarana, if you get that, then it will help only in boosting your ego, nothing else. So he listens to the statement that I am Brahma, aham Brahmasmi, aham Brahmasmi, aham Brahmasmi. But he misuses this to lead a life of tamaguna. When you don't deserve to be called I am Brahma, aham Brahmasmi, then if you are saying this aham Brahmasmi without deserving to say this, then it shows your tamoguna. So he justifies it by saying that I can do whatever I want because after all I am a Brahma, aham Brahmasmi. But merely saying this aham Brahmasmi doesn't help. You have to first acquire that qualification, that knowledge. Then only you can say this. Otherwise, it will result only in boosting your ego, nothing else. So all such people, we should remember that this is not Brahma. When you say aham Brahmasmi, this is not Brahma. This is Brahma. Brahma means delusion, confusion. And this thinking reflects their Brahma, not Brahma. Brahma and Brahma are two different things. Listening is step number one, but it's just the beginning. And you cannot bypass the practices which are required to be done in order to purify your mind. Unless mind is purified, you cannot be reaching where you want to really reach. Your mind has to be equanimous, equipoised, balanced. And then you can lead a balanced life only when your mind is balanced. Slok 39. Shraddhavallabhate jnanam tatpara sanyadendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shanti machirena adhigacchati. Important. Paramatma says the one who has complete faith, Shraddha, and is dedicated to transcendental knowledge, who has conquered his senses, that person, he attains higher knowledge, and having attained that higher knowledge, he attains the supreme peace. He attains the supreme peace. Shraddha vallavate jnanam tatpara sanyadendriya. Sanyadendriya, the person who has controlled his senses. So now, what does it mean to have faith? What does the faith mean? Seeing the Guru as being equal to the God, that is faith. That is Shraddha. Undeserved, unquestioning, implicit faith and surrender to the Guru, that is faith. No doubts whatsoever, and regarding the Guru as a form of God. Having complete faith in the Guru as a Brahma, the Guru is Vishnu and Guru is Shankara. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara. So practically, literally believing every word of that shloka is Shraddha. That Guru is your Brahma. So this is faith. This is devotion. This is surrender. One who doesn't have Shraddha, in 17th Adhyaya there is a shloka, Ashraddhaya hutan dattan tapastaptam krutanitayat asatichite partha nachatat pretyeno iha. Whatever yajna, dan, tapa, sattvic karma you do with ashraddha, that means without Shraddha, it doesn't help you anywhere. It doesn't help you in this Manusya Loka, it doesn't help you in Paraloka as well. So Shraddha is a big thing. Without Shraddha, reading Gita is also of no use. You should have deep Shraddha about Lord Krishna. In Lord Krishna, you should have deep Shraddha. Every word of Lord Krishna should penetrate your mind, your intellect, enter your heart. That Shraddha you should have about Lord Krishna. So the other prerequisites Lord is saying is that subdued senses, Sanyatendriya, senses which are in check. And the Lord says, the one who fulfills these two conditions, devotion, surrender, and Jitendriya, Sanyatendriya, he is eligible to receive the Jnana. Furthermore, this happens not in some distant future, rather the one who is ready and prepared, he attains it instantaneously. And thus attaining the transcendental knowledge, he attains the supreme peace. Shanti achirena adi gacchati. Achirena, without delay. Gacchati, attain. What? Shanti, param shanti. Slok 40. Adnyascha shraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. Nayan loko stinaparo nasukham samshayatmanaha. So the ignorant people who lack faith and keeps on doubting, he gets ruined. You doubt everything that is said in Gita, you doubt everything that is said in Adhyatma, then you are ruining yourself. Adhyasya shraddhanasya samshayatma vinashyati. He goes to hell. He cannot come up then. He is ruining himself. There is no happiness, there is no joy for him, neither in this world nor in the other world. This shloka is similar to what we just said about 70 shloka. Ashraddhya hudandattan tapastaptam krutankyat asatichite partha nachatat pretino iha. Similarly, Adnyasya shraddhanasya samshayatma vinashyati nayan loko stinaparo nasukham samshayatmana. Both are having almost similar meaning. There are millions of people who have no interest, no faith, no inquiry about the existence of God. Such people will neither get any joy in this world nor in the Paraloka, other world. Slok 41. Yoga sanyasta karmani jnana sanchinna samshayam atmavantanna karmani nipadnanti dhananjayo. So the one who has renounced attachment of all fruits of actions, karma phala, he has relinquished all karma phalas, who has offered all his karmas to the Supreme, to the Lord, to the Parabrahma, whose doubts have been vanquished, eliminated, destroyed by the transcendental knowledge, such a person, established in his real self, is not bound by any karmas. Yoga sanyasta karmani jnana sanchinna samshayam atmavandana karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. How will the karma bind, and moreover, who will they bind? Who the karma will bind? The one who has surrendered to the divine, to the Parabrahma, who has burnt his senses, who has surrendered his senses of doership, he is a non-doer. One who has subdued his senses and he has integrated his mind, who has burnt all his past samskars in the fire of Shraddha, in the fire of faith, in the fire of knowledge. Such a person will remain a non-doer despite doing all actions, and thus karmas simply cannot bind him anymore. So non-doership is important thing. The one who knows and is established in his real self, one who identifies with his real self, he is never bound by any karmas. On the other hand, the one who identifies with body is always bound by karma, The first error is to regard this body as I. I am the body. This is the first error. The second error is to regard all those related to the body as mine, belonging to me. Now the cycle of auspicious and inauspicious karma will commence. When you say mine, not mine, then auspicious and inauspicious karma will begin. In order to rectify these mistakes, the first step you need to follow is to take and disidentify yourself from the body. And the moment you disassociated your identity from the body, as soon as the I am body is dropped from your mind, all attachments also drop on their own of their own accord at that very moment. So Paramatma says, drop all this. You're not a body. So drop all attachments which the body has given you. Slok 42. Tasmadadhyana sambhutam hristai jnana sinatmanaha chitvainam sanshiyam yogam attishta uttishta bharata. Therefore, Arjuna, be established in this samatva buddhi yoga. Samatva yuddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga. Samatva buddhi we have discussed umpteen number of times. Whatever behavior you have with the outside world, do it with equanimity. He is closer to me, he is my enemy, he is friend, that other fellow is my foe. Not with that kind of thing. Everyone is same for you. Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavhyastini shunichaiva shvapakeja pandita samadarshana. Pandit looks at them, all of them in equanimity, because he knows Mame Vansho Jiva Loke is the fact. Paramatma's fragment is there in all of them. So who am I to distinguish, to make difference between them? So remaining equipoised, equipositioned when dealing with outside people, and similarly remaining equipoised when dealing with your own sentiments, your own emotions. Na pravrashit prem prapya, no dvijit prapya cha prem, sthira buddhira sammodo brahma vid brahmani sthita. With little joy you start dancing, with little grief you start shedding tears. This is not samatha yoga. So you have to accept both in equanimity, remaining equipoised. So be established in this Samabuddhi yoga, and with the sword of knowledge, slash all the doubts which have arisen in your heart as a result of ignorance. You are not fighting this war because of your ignorance. You have doubts in your mind because of your ignorance. Remove all those minds with the sword of knowledge, what you have got now. And just armed with the knowledge, get ready to wage this war. Remove all your doubts with this knowledge. So Lord says to Arjuna, get established in this Samatha Buddhi Yoga. Know that which is sama, immutable, unchangeable. Is it the body, the mind, the intellect, the prana? No, they all change. This keep on changing all the time. What is immutable then? Your own real self, your own jivatma is immutable. It doesn't change. Thus, establishing your intellect in your real self is Samatha Buddhi Yoga. So know that I am the non-doer and I am the non-bearer of consequences. I am the detached witness. I can be nothing but detached witness only and only. This is my essential nature. I don't want to become a witness. I am a witness. I don't want to become. I am a witness in reality. So no karma can bind the self-realized being. Thus, what you have to do is erase this I and let all actions happen through you. Move away from the sense of doership and perform your actions with excellence. Sri Krishna says, get established in the higher knowledge of the real self, not in the body, intellect, mind, but in the real self. And then no karma can ever bind you. So this is the end of Adhyaya 4, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Let us read the Pushpika. Om Tat Saditi Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyāyai Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna-Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturtho Dhyāyah. Om Shri Krishna-Arpanamastu. Now the forum is open for all of you to raise your questions. Feel free to ask questions. Today we have got the shlokas rather swiftly because there was not much of time, and in these sessions we have to conclude the 4th Adhyaya. So If you have any doubts about any shlokas, feel free to raise your questions. Thank you so very much.
We all listened to our dear Vikas Vaidya. I'm so sorry for the technical glitch. Hence, his introduction was not done earlier. So let me do now. So he is a BE Mechanical PBM qualified professional, have traveled the world, enjoyed NRI status for 12 years. Presently of a Pune-based, holds multilingual skills, wherein he knows so many languages like Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, Spanish. He is not only a habitual reciter of all 18 Gita chapters since last 5 years, but also a senior trainer in Gita Parivar from L1 to L4, and involved in training and trainers training L4. So his other feats are to be involved in teaching and Vivechan of as a member of and guiding Gita Vratis to prepare for Sringeri Peeth Gita exam. He has bagged first prize in Gita Kanthasth exams of Param Guru Shankaracharya Ji. So may we all continue to imbibe this nectar of knowledge through him. Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya. Thank you for explaining the shlokas so in a simple language that can be read by all of us immediately. Best part is to be attached to Krishna's love and devotion always with pranayam and gyan yagna and shraddha. This association step is an eye-opener. So in their lives, question answer session to ask, kindly unmute yourself one by one. You have to keep your Bhaiya will solve all your life difficulties with his thorough knowledge of Gita and also give you minute life management tips to open your heart out and ask uninhibitedly. Shyam Bhai, you can ask a question. Shyam Prasad.
Shyam Prasad. Good evening, sir.
Bhaiya.
Good evening, good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now my voice is clear?
Yeah.
Sir, good evening, sir. Last many slokas Krishna dealt with about the jnana.
Yes.
And what is that jnana? Of course, you told actually this is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a jnana. That is the Ashtanga Yoga, that final stage of this is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is the jnana.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Right.
But in slokas 34 and 39, Krishna clearly told you had to understand the Bhagavat Tattva Jnanamu. That means, what is that? That means we have to understand what is God. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Then how it is this Nirvikalpa Samadhi and this Bhagavat Jnana is one and the same?
You see, Shlok 34, Paramatma says, Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshantite jnani jnaninas tattva darshana. So for obtaining jnan, you go to a tattva darshana. That means you go to a jnani. You go to an accomplished person who has realized God within himself.
Yes.
And then politely put up your questions to him, render your service to him. So this is one way of getting the jnana. But in 39 shloka, Paramatma says, Shraddhaval labhate jnanam tatparas sanghitendriya jnana labdhva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. You can obtain this jnana within yourself also, without going to a tattva darshana. But 2-3 conditions are required: Shraddha and Sangyatendriya. You should be able to restrain your senses and you should have deep faith in the God. Then you can get Jnanam Labdha Param. Param is that Param Sreshta Jnan. You can obtain Shanti Marenaji Gacchati, and then you attain that Param Shanti without any delay.
Yes.
So there are two ways. Either you go to a Jnani for obtaining the Jnana, or follow this route wherein you can find the Jnana within yourself and enlighten your own soul.
No, that is the how to get that jnana. But what is that Gyan? Gyan means suppose you are in a graduate mechanical engineer, so you will understand, you learn about the mechanics and all these things. Like, so I'm an electrical engineer. I have to learn the electrical principles and all these things about the how the equipment will work. But Gyan means what I have to learn from. I have to learn about the God, or I have to learn about my Atma, or I have to learn about the Bhagavad-Gītā. Or I have what is that Jnana? That is, I'm not clear.
The definition of Jnana. Okay, okay. Pretty simple. You see, Jnana, it entails 2-3 things. One is Paramatma or the Prakriti has given us this body, senses, mind and intellect. 4 instruments have been given to us. And we are fortunate that we got the Manushyani. So we got all these 4 instruments as per the human body. So we have our own intellect, we have our own mind, we have our own body, and we have our own senses. The purpose of getting all this is to attain Paramatma, because our Jivatma, which is a fragment of Paramatma, we have to reunite. You have to unite that fragment with the Paramatma of which it is a fragment. And this journey of taking your Jivatma to Paramatma is Adhyatma.
Yes.
And these 4 instruments have been given to you for performing that Adhyatma, not for Indriya Sukha or not for sense gratification.
Yes.
So this is one part of Jnana. Second part of Jnana is you have to realize that Paramatma is the only truth. Rest everything is untrue. Sat and Asat. Your body is Asat, only Jivatma is Sat. Jivatma is a part of Paramatma. So Jivatma is Sat, your body is Asat. Srushti, this samsar is Asat, Paramatma is Sat. So what is Sat and what is Asat? This you need to know clearly well and follow your day-to-day activity in accordance with that. We keep following, having deep faith in Asat. We keep having deep faith in our body and in this universe. While the contrary should happen. We should have deep faith in Paramatma, in our Jivatma, and no faith in this body and no faith in the samsara. But we do exactly the opposite of it. So doing correct way is a jnana, and to follow it is a jnana. So this kind of thing has to nurture in us, and Bhagavad-Gītā teaches us how you can get nurtured with this kind of thoughts in your swa, so that you follow the route for which you have been given the human species by Paramatma. No other species out of 84 lakh has this distinct advantage that we have. It is only we as human beings who can attain Paramatma. No other species can. Others are all bhog yonis. Ours is a karma yoni. No other yoni can do the karma, including Deva yoni. Deva yoni also a bhog yoni. Because whatever good karma they do sattvic, they attain Swarga and then they enjoy the life there, whatever. But that is also a bhog yoni. Karma, the right of freedom of doing karma is given to human beings only.
Yes.
If we take good advantage of it and then attain Paramatma, then that is the proper way of using this body, mind, intellect and senses. This is the Gyan which we should get.
So, yes, sir. Yes. So, to understand I am not this body, I am the Atma, that is also a Gyan.
Yes, that is also Gyan.
And understanding the which is the permanent and which is impermanent is also a Gyan.
Yes. Yes.
And understanding the what is my relation with the God is also a Jnana.
Yeah. And also understanding that whatever sattvic, rajasic, tamasic karma I do, every karma puts me under a bondage. It is only when I become gunatit, beyond those gunas, beyond those attributes, that I can imagine to become one with Paramatma. It is only when I reach Paramatma that I get rid of this cycle of birth and death.
Yes.
All other karmas, abrahmam bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna. Even if you go to Brahma loka, punaravartino.
Then will come back.
You have to come back.
Yes.
As soon as the deposit of sattvic karma is over, they will kick you out. Go.
Yes.
Go again, earn some good karmas, and then you can come. This is the only way that we can get rid of this cycle of birth and death. If we become one with Paramatma, that means our balance sheet is 0-0. No sattvic, no rajasi, no tamasi. We have become gunatit. And the only way to become gunatit, as we learn in 14th adhyay, is doing sattvic karma without kartritva abhiman, without bhoktrutva, and without any eyes on the fruits of the karma. In this way, whatever karmas you do, that will make you gunatit. This is a Gyan.
Yeah.
But Bhagavad Gita, every adhyaya is a Gyan Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, yes. That is why it is confusing. Suppose if one definition is there, jnana means this is the definition. Okay, it is clear. But now we have discussed a lot of things like understanding the Atma, I am not this body, and all these things are also jnana. So there's a lot of confusion is there. So now I got some clarification. Still need to go through this journey.
Another part of Gyan you will learn in 13th adhyay.
Yes.
Kshetra Vibhag Yog. Kshetra is our body. Kshetrajna is that fragment of Paramatma which is monitoring our body, which is watching as a witness. That adhyay teaches us how to detach ourselves from our body.
Yes. I am.
Those
Yes,
steps are enumerated, given in 13th adhyay.
yes.
How to see yourself as a witness and detach yourself from the body. When you detach yourself from body, then only you can imagine to attain the avyakta, unmanifested form of Paramatma. In 12th adhyay, Arjuna had asked this question. Evam satada yuktaye bhaktastam paribhasate ye chapekshar maktan deshanki yoga ittamaha. So Paramatma said, Maya Vishamana Yevan Nitya Yukta Pasate Shraddhaya Pariyopeta Steve Yukta Tamavataha. Those who worship my manifested form, my Sagun Sakar form, they are okay, they are better. Because to worship my Nirgun Nirakar, my unmanifested form, is not possible for Dehadhari people. For embodied people, they cannot imagine something without body. But when we go through 13th adhyay, we start imagining ourselves without body.
Right.
And then when these two frequencies match, Sagun Sakar, if we are worshipping Sagun Sakar as Shri Ram, Shri Krishna, Shri Shankar, okay. They are also Sagun Sakar, we are also Sagun Sakar, matching. But when we want to obtain Avyakta, unmanifested form, we should become unmanifested. And the only way to become unmanifested is to detach ourselves from the body. When we detach ourselves from the body, then we also become Avyakta. And we are worshipping Avyakta. So again, Avyakta, unmanifested, they match. Yes, then it is possible. The frequencies can match.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Ushma.
Jai Shri Krishna, sir. Thank you for the vivechan and summarizing the adhyay and understanding about Jnana. But I know Gujarati, Hindi, and English. And Sanskrit is my weakness. So I listen, I'm on level 3 now. And so much focus is on the chanting and gunjana of all the slokas, which I follow with my dedication. And understanding from the vivechans, I only get a small scratch or a summary or the abstract. Like today, I just learned the importance of Gnan and yagnas, and how they are hand in hand. But reading each sloka, I can't interpret. It's not scratching on my knowledge of Gita. So it's all washing over me. Like an example I give you is, like I know Hindi. So say if somebody start chanting Hanumanji, I'll chant Jaya Hanuman Gnana Guna Sagar. So I know it's referring, salute to Hanuman. You are the knowledge, or an ocean of knowledge. But reading these slokas, I can't interpret it because they don't have a tool of translation. And that's my difficulty. I'm really, really confused.
See, this is the reason that these Vivechan Satras are conducted on weekends. Because
Sanskrit is a language which there are several complicated rules of Sanskrit. And unless you know those rules, you may probably draw a meaning which is exactly opposite of what it wants to say. So that's why understanding what the shloka means and then reciting that shloka gives you some kind of satisfaction. That is, you are understanding what you are reading. You are understanding what you are reciting. Without understanding, if you do it, then it does not give you the full satisfaction. Okay, you can read with proper pronunciation. That is wonderful. But knowing it with meaning, and then, because if you know the meaning, then your thinking process starts. You start your own manan and chintan after you know some meaning of the shlokas, some meaning of those words. If reading Sanskrit shloka is as meaningless to you as reading a Chinese or a Thai script, then it doesn't appeal to your intellect.
Yeah, that's what I keep on feeling. Like, in Sloka 26,
that is the reason that
it says Juhati. Now, I don't know what Juhati means. And I don't know. Indriya, I know senses.
Juvati is to offer, samarpit, Juvati. I think when we discuss these shlokas, I had given these meanings of every word also. Juvati is offering.
Okay, and Indriya, I know it's senses. Nishu, I don't know what it means.
No,
So
you have to
it's
read
only
the
scratching,
Every shloka, every word of Sanskrit, when it is combined, you have to disintegrate and then find each word of that particular charan, and then you can draw the proper meaning. Like there is avagraha. Avagraha invariably means a. So if avagraha is there and if we say that sheshena, then it becomes actually a sheshena. That means without leaving anything, balance. But if you don't understand the meaning of avagraha, then you will say sheshena. That means keeping something balanced. While the meaning is don't keep anything balanced, a sheshena. Because avagraha means a. So these are the rules of Sanskrit. But I would not advise you to go into details of Sanskrit as a language. You get to know the basic meaning of the shloka and then start your own thinking process. There are ample, good number of books available of Gita Press and for from other so many knowledgeable people who have written books in Hindi, Marathi, English, Tamil, Telugu, all languages. Just scan through Amazon. Every language books you will get on Amazon. Wonderful vivechana done by people. And then you can go through the books of your choice, get to know the explanations made by different authors. Take 2-3 authors and go through their views on each shloka. Then start your own thinking. Don't go after word meaning of every word. That may complicate the issue. We're not interested in learning Sanskrit as a language. We want to understand the message of Paramatma.
Can you recommend any of these books I could look up?
Which or Hindi or Marathi, which language?
English or Gujarati, Sanskrit to English or...
In English, there is one book by R.S. Verma, then there is another book by Radhakrishnan. And then there is a book, that famous book, Gita as it is. So these 3-4 books you can refer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
because
after reading everything, you have to do your own thinking. Unless you do your own thinking, the meaning won't get deeply rooted in your mind. Because this is not a textbook.
Because I keep on guessing, like does eva means me? Or mamam, does it mean me? I keep on guessing, because I think reading these, they keep on coming again and again, like paryupasate. And I keep on guessing, but I don't know what it means.
You see, paryupasate, no? Param upasate. Param is shreshta. Upasate is upasana. That means to worship. Paryupasate is very high level of upasana. Very high level of puja is paryupasate.
And there isn't any books that explains all these word by word that is translated, like...
Yes, Gita as it is, the book that I told you, Gita as it is, it gives meaning of every word.
Gita as it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is
Soumendra,
it by? Who is it by? Who's the author?
Bhakti something. You see it on Amazon. You put this title Gita as it is. You'll find. ISKCON. Yeah, this way by ISKCON. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, because
But the language
I can read and recognize and chant all the slokas now.
Yes.
In level 3, I've done 7
I will
adhyayas.
caution you.
But honestly, I don't know what it all means, except very basic summary of what it means.
Yeah. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. But I tell you one thing, that though that book gives you the meaning of every word, the Vivechana, the explanation done for every shloka is little bit boring. Sorry to use the word, but it becomes little bit, you will become little bit uninterested in knowing, because the language is very high level language, which common people never use. So we need to, okay, whatever you read, unless you think in your own language, in your own mind, the meaning doesn't get clear to you. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Soumendra Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna. Actually, the question is in Sloka 34. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
In Sloka 34, there a contrasting statement was given by Lord. Actually, he says that in other places he is the supreme, so we follow him. Now again here he says, if you want, you can go to other Gyanis and take the knowledge. But why this is to come? He is the supreme now. Whatever he says, Arjuna
very
will
good.
follow. Arjuna will
Very
follow
good.
everything.
Very good.
And Arjuna is
Very
also his real disciple.
very
and
good.
friend.
You see,
So that confusion, why you should.
I agree. Your question is right. Yeah. Your question is very right. You see, Paramatma has started clarifying Arjuna's doubt right from second adhyay. Ashocha nanva shochasvam pradnyavada subhashase kata suna kata soshta nanu shochanti pandita. This 11th shloka of second adhyay. So from that shloka onwards, Paramatma is constantly talking to Arjuna. In third adhyay, Paramatma again clarified his doubts. In fourth adhyay, again he clarified so many of his doubts. But Arjuna's thirst of knowledge is not getting extinguished. So Paramatma says, okay, if you don't want to believe me, if you don't want to listen to me, go to his Tattvadarshini. He can explain to you. So this is another way of telling him that there are different ways of available to obtain the jnana. You can get it from me. You have so many questions. You are welcome to contact any other Tattvadarshina, any other Jnani, and he will give you this knowledge. Go to him, Tad Vidhi Pranipatena, offer your namaskara to him, offer him your seva, and politely ask whatever questions you have in your mind to him. As you are asking me, you can verify what I am telling you to you from that person also. So this is a way of explaining to Arjuna.
Or maybe it is in another way that he, through Arjuna, telling to Arjuna, he wants to tell all the people in general that yes, there are other ways of acquiring knowledge also. So this may be another part. So maybe that is the thing. Now I come to that conclusion probably.
Yes,
so
that's all.
I'm thinking is correct, na?
Yeah, right. But as I said sometime back, in 39 shloka, Paramatma says you can get this knowledge on your own also. You don't have to go to a Tattvadarshana. Shraddhava lavate jnanam tatpar sanyate indriya jnana lobdha param shanti machirina gacchati.
But for that he has to be totally enlightened, na? That much of enlightenment has come. Then only he can get the knowledge by himself. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Geeta Didi.
Thank you.
Didi, unmute yourself. You are not audible. Didi, please.
गीता जी अनम्यूट हो जाइए आप.
You have to press the mic.
जय जय श्री कृष्ण भैया जी। मेरा
जय श्री कृष्ण।
प्रश्न ये है कि ये निष्काम कर्म ठीक है, सुनने में भी बहुत अच्छा है और मतलब है ही, लेकिन इसका कैसे हम कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि इतना अभ्यास हो गया है, तो कोई भी कर्म होता है तो इसमें पहले ही ख्याल चला जाता है कि किसी पर्पस से ही हो रहा है। जैसे आपको सुन रहे हैं तो इसमें भी एक उद्देश्य है,
जी
एक सकामता ही है इसमें, कि आपको सुन रहे हैं क्योंकि हम इससे हमारा उद्धार होगा या भला होगा हमारा। तो ये
सही बात
कैसे जीवन में लाया जाए?
सही बात है। देखिए ऐसा है कि शुरुआत तो सबके सकाम कर्म से ही होती है। सकाम कर्म मतलब जैसा आप बोल रही हैं कि कुछ मन में इच्छा हो तभी कर्म होता है। हम लोग का आदत ऐसी हो गई है कि कर्म शुरू करने के पहले हम ये सोचते हैं ये करने से मेरे को मिलने वाला क्या है, तो मैं करूं, नहीं तो क्या के लिए करूं।
जी
करने का कुछ मतलब तो चाहिए ना, किस कारणवश करूं। मुझे हाथ में कुछ मिलने वाला हो तो करता हूँ, नहीं तो नहीं करता हूँ। ऐसा हमारा विचार करने का पद्धति हो गया है। जैसे हम मंदिर में जाते हैं तो परमात्मा के सामने प्रार्थना करते हैं, एक श्लोक पढ़ते हैं जो भी आता है हमको प्रार्थना का, और फिर बाद में एक डजन लिस्ट हमारे डिमांड जो होता है कि हमको ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, ये चाहिए, सब डिमांड परमात्मा के सामने रखते हैं। जब भी मंदिर में जाते हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ परमात्मा से मांग के ही आते हैं। जैसे खाली जाते नहीं है, खाली आते भी नहीं है। एक बार ये ट्राई करके देखिए, जाइए मंदिर, जो भी स्तोत्र आपको आता है पूरा अच्छे मन से पढ़िए, कुछ भी मत मांगे, ऐसे ही चले आइए। तो मन में जो एक शांति, एक प्रसन्नता का अनुभव होगा ना, वो 10 डिमांड मानने के बाद में नहीं होगा। क्योंकि हम कुछ मांगते हैं किसी से तो मन में एक प्रकार का चल बिचल होता है कि मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा। मैंने मांग तो लिया है लेकिन परमात्मा मेरे पर देंगे क्या। और हर 10 दिन में आप यदि परमात्मा से कुछ मांगने लगे, जैसे कल्पना कीजिए कि आप घर में है, रोज एक आदमी आपके पास आता है, बोलता है 10 रुपए दो, 15 रुपए दो, 25 रुपए दो, रोज आता है। एक दिन वो आएगा तो आप बोलेंगे उनको बोल दो मैं घर पे नहीं हूँ। आप कितने दिन तक किसी को देखेंगे ना। तो हम ये नहीं चाहेंगे कि परमात्मा हमसे एक बार मुंह मोड़ ले कि ये तो वो रोज आने लगा मेरे पास, रोज ही मांगता है, कुछ ना कुछ आता है। तो जो रोज मांगता है उसको परमात्मा भी उसको लाइक नहीं करेंगे। फिर उनको ऐसे भक्त चाहिए जो बगैर, क्या हमको परमात्मा को समझ में आता है क्या कि हमको क्या चाहिए। वो उनको बोलने की आवश्यकता नहीं थी हमको। परमात्मा को सबको मालूम है कि किसको कब क्या चाहिए। मैं उदाहरण देता हूँ हमेशा कि परमात्मा सबके भ्राता है, सबके भरण पोषण करने वाले हैं। बच्चे का जन्म होने के पहले परमात्मा को उसकी जानकारी होती है कि इसको जन्म होने के बाद तुरंत खाने पीने की कुछ व्यवस्था करना पड़ेगी। उसका जन्म होने के पहले ही उसकी माता के स्तनों में दूध देते हैं परमात्मा, कि इसका जन्म होते ही उसको कहीं आधा जाना भी नहीं पड़े, उसको उसकी माता से ही खाने पीने का सब व्यवस्था परमात्मा करते हैं। और भी कब तक करते हैं, पहले 6-8 महीने, 6-7 महीने, जब तक वो बाहर का खाना खाने नहीं लगता है। एक बार बाहर का खाना खाने लगा तो बंद हो जाता है फिर। तो परमात्मा की सब चिंता वो सब करते हैं।
जी
हमको मांगने की आवश्यकता नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन हम मांग के हमारी आदत ही ऐसी हो गई मांगने की। तो यदि बगैर मांग के हम इस सिर्फ परमात्मा का सिर्फ निष्काम रूप से ध्यान करना शुरू करें तो जो आनंद में लगेगा ना वो अद्भुत रहेगा। तो ये तो आदत बदलने का एक
जी, बस आदत वही कैसे बदलना जाए,
तरीका।
शुरू करना है।
और गीता हमारा आदत बदलती है, गीता हमारा आदत बदल देती है। गीता का पठन करें, उसका मनन चिंतन करें तो ये सारी आदतें बदल जाती है। कोई कुछ मांगने की आवश्यकता नहीं होती है। परमात्मा को सब मालूम है कि किसको क्या चाहिए, किसको क्या देना चाहिए, किसको क्या नहीं देना चाहिए, उनको सब मालूम है।
दूसरा
इतना
ये जो
भरोसा
आपने,
हमारा होना चाहिए।
जी दूसरा ये है भैया जी कि जैसे आपने कहा ना कि शरीर, हम शरीर नहीं है, तो ये मैंने रमन
हाँ
महर्षि के उसमें भी पढ़ा हुआ है, और इसको मैं कभी कभी ऐसे हमेशा सोचती हूँ कि हाँ मैं शरीर नहीं हूँ, मैं शरीर नहीं हूँ ऐसा। लेकिन जब इंटेंस पेन आता है ना शरीर में कहीं भी, तब उस समय ये चीज याद नहीं आती है, तब वो पेन मतलब बिल्कुल तकलीफ देता। ऐसे तो हम इमेजिन करते रहते हैं चलते फिरते, क्योंकि बात याद आती रहती है कि महर्षि के उसमें पढ़ा है, रमन महर्षि का जीवन पढ़ा हुआ है। तो लेकिन जब पेन होता है,
ये बात आपकी सही है बिल्कुल कि ये बोलना आसान है, करना बहुत कठिन है। सही बात है, आपका कहना बिल्कुल सही है। लेकिन वो करने के लिए कोई चारा भी नहीं है कि शरीर धर्म से बाहर पड़ना, शरीर का जो तादाद में है, ये तो हम शरीर में घुसे रहेंगे और फिर अंत में शरीर के साथ ही हमारे आसक्ति रहेगी। तो फिर मुक्ति का तो भूलना ही पड़ेगा। यदि मुक्ति चाहिए तो शरीर से तादाद में छोड़ना पड़ेगा। एज ए विटनेस, एज ए साक्षी हमको देखना पड़ेगा शरीर के जो भी व्यवहार है, साक्षी बन के, साक्षीदार बन के।
साक्षी भाव रखना पड़ेगा।
एक आदत है, जैसे हम कि कोई चीज को देख रहते हैं तो देखता कौन है? हमारी आंखें देख रही है। मैं मतलब आंख हूं क्या? नहीं, मैं आंख नहीं हूं ना, आंख तो मेरा एक सेंस है। लेकिन उस टाइम हम आंख में प्रवेश कर जाते हैं कि मैं मतलब आंख हूं। हम खाना खाते हैं तो खाना कौन खा रहा है? हमारी जीवा खाना खा रही है, हमारी जबान खाना खा रही है। लेकिन वो उसका टेस्ट कहाँ तक पहुंचता है? हमारे मस्तिष्क तक, हमारे मन तक, हमारे माइंड तक पहुंचता है। तो जीवा खाने का काम करती है, लेकिन वो अच्छा है या अच्छा नहीं है ये जीवा को पता नहीं है। वो तो खाने का काम करती है, उसका टेस्ट अच्छा है, मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है या नहीं लग रहा है, ये सोचता कौन है? हमारा मन सोचता है। तो यदि हम ये सोचना शुरू करें कि यदि हमारा मन के ऊपर कंट्रोल है तो सारी इंद्रियों के ऊपर कंट्रोल हो सकता है। जीवा के ऊपर भी कंट्रोल हो सकता है, आंखों के ऊपर भी हो सकता है, सभी इंद्रियों के ऊपर। मन का निग्रह करना ये सबसे आवश्यक
जी। वो तो कठिन है, बहुत कठिन है।
है। लेकिन प्रैक्टिस से कठिन तो है ही,
प्रैक्टिस करनी
लेकिन
है, जी।
प्रैक्टिस इज द ओनली वे। अभ्यास तो कौन थे? वैराग्य च गृह्यते। परमात्मा ने कहा ना, अर्जुन ने यही सवाल पूछा था परमात्मा से कि ऐसा मन चंचल ही मन कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलोदृढ़ तस्या निग्रह मन ने वायु से दुष्करम। ये मन को पकड़ के ऐसा रखे, वो तो वायु के समान इधर उधर घूमते रहता है, मन एक जगह कभी भी स्थिर नहीं रहता है। परमात्मा कहते कि अभ्यास तो कौन थे? असंशय महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रही चलम। असंशय, एकदम सही बोला अर्जुन आपने, बिल्कुल संशय नहीं उसमें कि मन का निग्रह करना बड़ी कठिन बात है, लेकिन वो संभव है। अभ्यास और वैराग्य। अभ्यास मतलब वही चीज पर बार बार करते रहना, और वैराग्य मतलब सांसारिक कामनाओं में कटौती करना, वो वैराग्य। वैराग्य मतलब हिमालय में जाके रहना नहीं, संसार में रहते हुए हमारी जो जरूरतें हैं वो कम कम करते जाना चाहिए। सब झगड़ा शुरू होता है हमारी कामनाओं के कारण। यदि कामनाएं कम करें तो हमारा स्वभाव बदल जाएगा। हमारी कामनाएं आखिरी दम तक छूटती नहीं है। तो कामना ही हमसे सारे बुरे कर्म, पाप कर्म, जो भी मन के खेल है वो सब कामना ही करवाती है। यदि हमने तय कर लिया कि जो जितना कमाया उतना बहुत हो गया, जिनसे मैंने संबंध बनाए उतना बहुत हो गया, अब मुझे कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, इस संसार से मुझे कुछ अपेक्षा नहीं है, मेरे जो रिश्तेदार है, मेरे जो फ्रेंड सर्कल है, उनसे कुछ भी अपेक्षा नहीं है, मैं खुश हूँ, मुझ में स्वयं में खुश हूँ। जब हम में स्वयं में आनंद प्राप्त करने की कोशिश करने लगते हैं तो बाहर की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती फिर। और जब बाहर की जरूरत खत्म हो जाती है तब अंदर का आनंद और बढ़ते जाता है। और बाहर की जरूरत कम करना मतलब हमारी कामनाएं कम करना। तो ये एक मार्ग है कामना कम करने का।
जी। प्रैक्टिस करूंगी, शुरुआत करूंगी। थैंक यू।
जयता दीदी।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
Sir, please explain that is in shloka 28. What are Sansita Vrata?
संशित व्रता है ना?
Yeah.
द्रव्य यज्ञास्तपो यज्ञ योग यज्ञास्तथा परे स्वाध्याय ज्ञान यज्ञाश्च यते संशित व्रता। संशित व्रता मतलब आप किसी भी भगवान, आपके जो इष्ट देवता है उनका जब पूजन मनन चिंतन करते हैं, उनको आराधना करते हैं उनकी, तो हर एक देवता के कुछ व्रत होते हैं। संशितम व्रता मतलब उन व्रतों का स्ट्रिक्ट फॉलो करना।
अच्छा।
जैसे सफेद कपड़े पहन के ही सोमवार को शंकर भगवान के दर्शन करने चाहिए, पूजा करने के टाइम पीले वस्त्र पहनना चाहिए, काले नहीं पहनना चाहिए, या इतने जो भी कहा गया है हमारे वेदों में उसका पालन करना, यह है संशित व्रता, हमारे व्रत का पालन करना।
But when you previously say about this, you told something like don't hold something, and some 5 points are there in this Sansita Vrata. I just don't remember that. That's why I'm asking you again.
तो संशित व्रता का वर्ड टू वर्ड मीनिंग यही है, संशित व्रता का। लेकिन अभी उस आपने किस बारे में बोल रही है मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है अभी। संशित व्रता मतलब
सर आपने बोला आपने बोला था कि 5 पॉइंट्स है संसिता व्रता के अंडर. वन इज डोंट होल्डिंग एनीथिंग एंड और 4 कुछ बोला आपने, बट आई डोंट रिमेम्बर दैट्स व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग यू अगेन.
आप कुछ कॉन्टेक्स्ट बता सकते हैं क्या, किस बारे में मतलब?
आप कुछ तो कुछ अलग ग्रंथ का बात करके उसमें से आप बोल रहे थे कि these 5 are under this Sansita Vrata, so you can practice it.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, ओके ओके, those 5
Yeah.
things. 5
Yeah.
things वो है संस्कृत व्रत, मतलब नॉन वायलेंस, अहिंसा.
Yeah.
हाँ, अहिंसा,
हाँ.
सत्य, अहिंसा, सत्य, ट्रुथ, और नॉन स्टीलिंग मतलब चोरी नहीं करना.
ओके.
हाँ,
हाँ.
और सेलिबेसी मतलब ब्रह्मचारी व्रत.
ओके. हाँ.
और आखिर में रिफ्रेन फ्रॉम होर्डिंग मतलब संग्रह वृत्ति नहीं करना, बहुत सारी चीजों का संग्रह नहीं करना. तो ये जो 5 चीजें हैं इनको कहा गया है यम, और इनको इन यमों का जो पालन करते हैं उनको कहते हैं संशित व्रता. तो मतलब अहिंसा, सत्यता, चोरी नहीं करना, ब्रह्मचर्य व्रत का पालन करना और संग्रह वृत्ति का त्याग करना, ये 5 चीजें कहने लगे यम, और इनका जो अनुसरण करता है उसको कहते हैं संचित व्रता.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And another thing, sir, in Shloka 29, you told that at the time of pranayam, वो जो रोचक and inhale and exhale time हम लोग how many times we hold it, वो थोड़ा बताएंगे sir please.
4, 16, 8. 4 बार आप परमात्मा का नाम लीजिए, चाहे जो भी आपके इष्ट देवता है, श्री राम, श्री कृष्ण, जो भी. 4 तक काउंट करने के तब आप इनहेल करिए, सांस ले लीजिए. 16 काउंट करने तक सांस पकड़ कर रखिए
सर,
और 16 काउंट होने के बाद 8 काउंट करने तक सांस छोड़ दीजिए.
अच्छा सर, ओके.
तो 4, 16 और 8 ऐसा प्रोपोर्शन होता है.
ठीक है सर, ओके, थैंक यू सर.
स्मिता जी.
स्मिता जी.
Jai Shri Krishna, Vikas ji.
जय श्री
Actually,
कृष्ण.
I joined Bhagavad Gita like learning from January. So now I'm in level 3. So like I'm understanding the concepts and everything, but like I was discussing with someone like about Bhagavad Gita, like it's the song, like the book written by Veda Vyasa, and about the body soul concept, and about like life, birth cycle, like we Purva Janma, and we take birth, like a cycle of birth and death. But like some don't agree, like they say this is the, like it is kalpanik, like it's written, it is not real. So I wanted to know, like there's a like doubt inside me that I want to know, is it real conversation between Arjuna and Lord Krishna? Did they really exist like before 5,000 years ago? What we say, this all took place many years ago. So I wanted you to like clear my doubt. Like, did it take place, and does the place like Dwarka or whatever the battlefield happened? Is it everything really there? Like, has it really happened? So
It did really happen, but I cannot play the recording of the Sri Krishna's reading Bhagavad Gita at Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
I don't have that recording, but there are inventions done wherein you can catch the vibrations from the past.
Okay.
Say last 100 years, what vibrations had occurred in this particular place. If you are able to catch those vibrations, you can reproduce that sound, those words. And there are people who claim that they have caught some words of which were spoken 5,000 years back also. I have not heard those words so far, but there are scientific things available. Now people are not believing that Rama Setu was there built. But when they found at the bottom of the sea in Chennai that yes, the Rama Setu really did exist. So likewise, our Sanatan and whatever literature is produced, it has not come out of nothing. There was a base to it, isn't it? It's not an imaginary thing. It is something which is real. But I
Okay.
would go a step further, whether it was said or it was not said. If you
Okay.
read Gita as it is today, and if you
Okay.
draw the meaning of it, whether it was said
Okay.
by Krishna himself or it is an imaginary art of Maharishi Vedavyas,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
then the message given
Mm-hmm.
in Gita is spiritually of very high quality. If you follow those
Yes.
principles taught in Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah.
you are going to
Yeah.
obtain eternal peace. Once that is
Yeah.
guaranteed, then why do you
Yeah.
go into details? Whether Krishna who
Okay.
said this Gita was the same Krishna who used to play in Vrindavan with gopis and with
Yeah.
Radhas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Those questions,
Should
those
not
questions,
arise.
they become meaningless. You should start firmly
Mm-hmm.
believing in the teachings of Gita. So what we need to
Okay.
do is we need to firmly believe in the teachings of Gita rather than going into
Okay.
this postmortem of whether this has really
Okay.
happened or that
Yeah.
has not happened. So these are all the
Okay.
hypothetical questions we should keep aside, and we should have firm faith in
Okay.
Paramatma. Yes, yes. Whatever words have been
Yeah.
spoken, they are
Mm.
really teaching us of the spirituality. And the world is
Yeah.
accepting Gita as the biggest grantha in
Yes.
spirituality among all
Yes. Yes.
religions of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And about this, sir, like that Punarapi Janam and Purarapi Mara, like, do we
Yeah.
really take birth? Like when the soul goes up to the body, do we again really take birth, or is it a myth? Like, I just can't understand.
It does happen. Rebirth is a fact. Rebirth is a fact. You must have read in newspapers or in some magazines that a boy born now, he remembers his past life. He says, my parents are living in this city. Their name was like this. I was brother. I was this thing. I was killed by somebody. He tells the entire story of his past life. Very rarely people remember their past life, but there are instances when people remember. So from those examples, we can at least draw one conclusion that yes, rebirth does exist.
So one more thing, last thing, by reading all this, like knowledge, what wisdom we get from Bhagavad Gita, from all the 700 verses, will we be liberated from the past life karmas and the sins what we did? Like how do we attain liberation and attain Krishna?
You see, we carry on our karmas based on our past samskar. We discussed this. What is samskar? Samskar is whatever karma we are doing even this in this life. Every karma that we do, whether it is sattvic, rajasi or tamasi, every karma leaves an imprint on our antakaran. Antakaran is our subconscious mind and intellect, and our swa. These four put together is called antakaran. So every karma that we perform, it leaves an imprint on our antakaran. At the end of life, we carry this baggage of our samskar to the next life. If our baggage of sattvic samskar is big, we become sattvic in our next life. That become our innate nature in the next life. If in this life we are inclined to read Gita, that means in our previous life, we have done some sattvic karma, which has brought us to this path that we are now reading Gita. Everybody doesn't read Gita. Out of population of India, which is say 142 crores, how many people read Gita? It has to come from your samskar. And samskara were created by you only in your previous lives. We are creating samskar in this life for the next life. So if we want to become really good in our next life, we have to purify our samskars of this life. Better the samskar, better the life. This life as well as the next life.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you.
जय श्री कृष्ण। मेरा एक सवाल है, जैसा 84 लाख योनि में जैसा बताया जाता है कि उसके बाद में इंसान का जन्म मिलता है अपने को, तो फिर इतने मतलब 84 लाख योनि पूरे हो गए क्या? जैसे मतलब जैसे पहले के लोक संख्या 1 लाख थी तो आज 10 लाख हो रही, तो फिर ये क्या 9 लाख लोगों में आत्मा है या नहीं है? जैसा गीता सार में कहा गया है, आत्मा ना पैदा होती है ना मरती है, फिर ये 9 लाख में आत्मा है क्या नहीं है, कैसा?
देखिए 84 लाख जो है वो सब मनुष्य है ऐसा नहीं है ना, उसमें सब पशु पक्षी कीटक प्राणी सब आते हैं उसमें। जो भी सजीव चीजें हैं वो सारी सजीव चीजें 84 लाख में आती है। अभी वो सारी 84 लाख योनियां हमको भोगना पड़ती है, ये कोई आवश्यक नहीं है। हो सकता है कि हमारे कर्म ऐसे हो कि हम 2-4 योनि में जाएं, उसके भोगें। किसी को कुत्ते का जन्म मिलेगा तो कुत्ते के 4 डंडे खाए, कुत्ते के कारण अपनी गली के 4 कुत्ते उसके पीछे भागे, कुछ लोग उसके पीछे डंडा लेके भागे, उसको 2-4 डंडे पड़े बेचारे कुत्ते को, उसने अपने भोग लिए डंडे खा के। ऐसे और 2-4 योनि में यदि जाके अपने भोग लेता है तो हो सकता है वो फिर से मनुष्य योनि में आए। हर एक मनुष्य को, हर एक जीव को 84 लाख योनि के थ्रू जाना पड़ता है, ये आवश्यक नहीं है। लेकिन मनुष्य योनि प्राप्त होने के बाद ये सारे 84 लाख योनि से छुटकारा पाने का एक स्वर्णिम अवसर परमात्मा हमको प्रदान करते हैं। जैसे 14वें अध्याय में पढ़ते हैं, ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्निगुणोत्तिष्ठा अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः। सात्विक कर्म करिए, ऊपर उठिए, ऊपर मतलब स्वर्ग में जाइए, परमात्मा की प्राप्ति करिए। राजसिक कर्म करिए, फिर से मनुष्य लोक में आते रहिए कर्म करने के लिए, और तामसी कर्म करके पशु पक्षी और निचली योनि में जाइए। ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्य गुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसा। अधोगति हो जाएगी तामसी कर्म करेंगे तो सब हम ही हमारे फ्यूचर लिखते हैं। इस जन्म का, अगले जन्म का फ्यूचर हम ही लिखते हैं। किसी को, दूसरे को दोष देने में कोई मतलब नहीं कि उसने मेरी जिंदगी खराब कर दी। कोई किसी की जिंदगी खराब नहीं करता है, हम स्वयं अपनी जिंदगी सुधारते हैं, खराब करते हैं। हमारे कर्म उसके लिए जिम्मेदार होते हैं।
मोहिनी दीदी।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
मेरा ये कहते, हम तो शरीर और आत्मा को अलग अलग समझते हैं और कहते हैं शरीर, मगर जब शरीर का कोई दर्द हो तो वो तो आत्मा को फील करते हैं और हम उसका केयर करते हैं। तो शरीर और आत्मा कैसे अलग हो गए?
नहीं, आपका जो पेन फील करता है ना, वो आपका आत्मा नहीं करता है। आत्मा को कोई भावनाएं नहीं रहती है। जो फील करता है वो आपका मन रहता है। जो इंद्रियों का बॉस होता है मन, वो मन तक पहुंचता है। स्व इन सबसे अलिप्त है। स्व का और आपके पेन का कोई संबंध नहीं है। जो मन है आपका,
नहीं,
मन में पहुंचते हैं सब। जो है दर्द जो पहुंचता है मन तक जाता है।
वही मन तक जाता, मगर हम कहते हैं हम शरीर को, मतलब आत्मा अलग है और ये शरीर हमारा नहीं है। हमें,
हाँ,
मैं आत्मा हूँ। मगर जब ये शरीर के ऊपर कोई चीज आता है तो उस वक्त हमारा अटेंशन उसकी तरफ जाता है, शरीर की तरफ।
जिसका अटेंशन जाता है उसको हम मन बोलते हैं, उसको हम आत्मा नहीं बोलते। आत्मा तो वो स्व होता है जो परमात्मा का अंश होता है, वो हमारे मन से अलग है।
नहीं,
तो हमको ये सीख देना चाहिए स्वयं को कि मैं मन नहीं हूँ, मैं इंद्रिय नहीं हूँ, मैं शरीर नहीं हूँ। ये यदि हम मन की क्रियाएं, शरीर की क्रियाएं, हमारी इंद्रियों की क्रियाएं एक तटस्थ भाव से देखना सीखें एज ए विटनेस, तो हम इन सबसे बाहर हो सकते हैं हर एक चीज को।
मगर हमें उसको अटेंशन देना है ना। अगर to tolerate it we have to give attention, we have to take medicine, we have to do something जिससे हमारा अटेंशन उसकी तरफ जाता है।
अटेंशन जाना तो स्वाभाविक है। आंखें हैं तो आंखें देखने का काम तो करेंगी, कान है तो कान सुनने का काम तो करेंगे, तो अपने इंद्रिय अपने काम करते रहेंगे।
फिर ये अलग कैसे हो गया? फिर ये अलग कैसे रहेगा? मतलब इसका हमें ये कहना, ये हम आत्मा है और हमें इन चीजों को अलग रखना है। ये नहीं कहना ये मैं हूं, मगर इस मैं को तो सुनना देखना होता है ना। ये सब फील करता है ना। मैं अल्टीमेटली मैं तो
नहीं, देखिए ऐसा है कि जो मन में जो भावना निर्माण होती है कि मुझे दर्द हो रहा है, ठीक है, तो मन में भावना निर्माण हो,
अलग किया जाए।
बता रहा हूँ मैं आपको कि जो चीज होती है वो हमारी इंद्रिय और इंद्रियों के विषय, उनका जब आपस में संबंध होता है, आंखें हैं देखने का काम करती है, कान है सुनने का काम करते हैं, जिससे हमारे बाकी 5 इंद्रिय और 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय, 5 कर्मेंद्रिय अपना अपना विषय है उसके मुताबिक काम करते हैं। इंद्रियों में बुद्धिमत्ता होती नहीं है, बुद्धिमत्ता होती है हमारे मन में। तो इंद्रिय और इंद्रियों के विषय, इनका जब संयोग होता है तो उसमें से या तो एक अनुकूलता प्राप्त होती है या प्रतिकूलता प्राप्त होती है। अनुकूलता प्राप्त होती है तो हमारे मन में खुशी होती है, प्रतिकूलता प्राप्त होती है तो हमको हमारे मन में दुख दर्द पहुंचता है। यदि हम हमारे स्व का या मन का ट्रेनिंग ऐसा करें कि चाहे सुख मिले या दुख मिले, चाहे दर्द मिले या सुख मिले, हम दोनों परिस्थितियों में समान रहेंगे। यदि ये सीख हम
नहीं समान है, हम समान है, मगर हमें तो इसकी अटेंशन देनी है ना, वी हैव टू पे अटेंशन टू
अरे भाई अटेंशन तो देना पड़ेगा ना आपको।
वो अटेंशन
शरीर तो अटेंशन देना पड़ेगा, लेकिन उसमें से बाहर निकल के अटेंशन दीजिए। एज ए विटनेस अटेंशन दीजिए। मैं शरीर हूँ। जैसे कोई आदमी बम्बई में काम कर रहा है, नौकरी कर रहा है बम्बई में, तो वो कहता है कि मैं बम्बई हूँ, वो तो नहीं कहता ना बम्बई हूँ, मैं बम्बई में रहता हूँ।
नहीं कहता मैं बॉम्बे हूँ, मगर बॉम्बे को तो यहाँ पर तो बॉम्बे अगर दूसरे किसी को पेन होगा, आई एम द विटनेस फॉर दैट, बट इफ इट इज पेन इन मी, हाउ कैन आई इग्नोर इट?
How you can ignore it is by becoming yourself detached from the body. You have to learn how to detach from the body. That is what I was describing. That in 13th adhyay.
That is what I am telling you. How to detach? How to detach? What we have to do for that? What exercise?
There are 20 sadhanas given by Paramatma in 13th adhyay. क्षेत्र विभाग योगा। उसमें से एक है दुख दोषानुदर्शनम। जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुख दोषानुदर्शनम। जन्म एक दुखदायी परिस्थिति है, मृत्यु तो बहुत दुखदायी होता ही है, जरा बुढ़ापा बहुत दुखदायी होता है। सब हमारे जीवन की सारी दशाएं जो है, जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि, कोई रोग हो जाता है हमको, तब ये सब दुख देने वाली चीजें हैं। इसका हम नित्य निरंतर दर्शन मतलब स्मरण करते रहे कि जन्म दुखदायी है, तो फिर शरीर के साथ हमारा जो प्रेम शरीर के प्रति होता है वो कम कम होते जाता है। ऐसी 20 साधनाएं परमात्मा ने दी है 13वें अध्याय में। जब 13वां अध्याय हम डिस्कस करेंगे,
प्रेम भी नहीं रखेंगे, we will not have, हम वैसे हम इसके साथ प्रेम नहीं रखेंगे, मगर जब ये हमें कंपेल करता है प्रेम, मतलब उस वक्त हम उसके साथ प्रेम हो जाता है, क्योंकि मेरे को अब ये पेन है, आई हैव टू टेक अटेंशन, आई हैव टू पे मोर अटेंशन टू इट, तो मेरा लगाव इसकी तरफ हो गया। वो इसलिए उस वक्त हम उसके साथ अटैच्ड हो गए। जब नहीं है तो तब प्रेम नहीं है, छोड़ो जैसे चल रहा वैसे चल रहा। मगर जब भी हमें किसी वजह से चलो इसकी खुशी हम नहीं एंजॉय करेंगे, मगर इसका दर्द जो होता है ना, उस दर्द को हम कैसे अलग कर सकते हैं?
तो वही तो साधन है ना दीदी, दुख को, दर्द को और सुख को समान भाव से देखना, यही साधना है। समत्व योग
समान भाव से ही हम देखते हैं, मगर फिर भी जैसे हमारे बच्चे हैं, वो कहते हैं उनको वो उनके लिए ये पेन है, जैसे तुम ये करना वो करना,
ये साधना आसान नहीं है। दुख की तरफ देख के आंखें बंद कर लेना, ये साधना आसान नहीं है, मान्य है मुझे भी। लेकिन जब हम मन स्थिर रखने की कोशिश करते हैं, मेडिटेशन करते हैं, और जब मन एक जगह स्थिर करने की चेष्टा करना शुरू करते हैं, तो ये चीजें भी संभव होना शुरू हो जाती है।
ये
निरंतर आप संभव हो सकती है। अभी जो बड़े बड़े महात्मा लोग हो गए हैं, वो क्या मनुष्य का देह ही लिया था उन्होंने, उनको भी बड़े बड़े रोग हुए थे। बड़े बड़े महात्मा लोग कैंसर से जाते हैं, कुछ बड़े बड़े खराब रोग उनको होते हैं, तो उनको भी शरीर की व्याधि तो होती है ना। तो शरीर का धर्म है, लेकिन ऐसा तो नहीं है कि उन्होंने आध्यात्म छोड़ दिया।
मतलब हम शरीर को भी एक वैल्यू है, ये मेरा मतलब वैसे हमें गीता में कहा कि आत्मा को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए इस शरीर को भी हमें संभालना है, वी हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट इट, क्योंकि आत्मा इसमें है।
बॉडी एज हेल्दी एज पॉसिबल, because we cannot do any sadhana if our body is sick. If your back is paining all the time, you cannot sit.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So to the extent possible, we have to keep our body fit. That is the requirement. That is why in 6th adhyay, Paramatma has taught us even the yoga sadhana in 6th adhyay. How to enter into yoga, how to enter into meditation. All that is taught in 6th adhyay. Atma Sanyam Yoga.
Atma Sanyam.
But ultimately, man is not immortal. Someday he has to go.
नहीं we have patience. मगर मेरा यही मतलब है कि हमें इसकी तरफ एक attention देना, इस वक्त इसको अपना बनाना, या मैं उस वक्त वैसे, मगर when it feels I have to pay attention, उस वक्त उसकी तरफ जाता है. शायद आप मेरी बात सुन.
See, you have to pay attention to that. Yeah. You have to pay attention with only one intention, that your body should. Your body pain should not become a stumbling. Your body pain should not become a stumbling block in sadhana of Paramatma. That is the only reason that you should look after your body. Yes.
It should not be hindrance for that, but it is there.
Yes.
It is there. Thank you very much.
It is there, of course. Yes. It is there. Okay, I think we should wind up now. It is more big.
Is it prayer by yourself?
Heartfelt gratitude, Bhaiya, for this. Yes, this is. So, Learn Gita is serving selflessly to millions of sadhaks across the nation. So, a big salute will cause. Sincere thanks to all the relentless volunteers for putting their untiring efforts day and night and making these classes a big success story. So, may Krishna Kripa flows always. So, let's offer this session to the lotus feet of Krishna with an ending prayer. Yogesham Sachidanandam Vasudevam Prajap Dharma Sanstapakam Viram Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishna Vande Jagadgurum.
Pundaji, before we
close our session, let's rejoice with Hanuman.
Pundaji, just one sec. Before we close the session, I want to make one announcement, small announcement.
Tell me.
Today, our first batch of six sadhak had gone to Shrungeri for exam, and all 6 of them have got first prize.
Wow.
So all 6 members of the who went for the first exam at Shrungeri today, they all got first prize.
Nice. This is Hanuman Chalisa pray.
Yeah.
Very nice. Feat of achievement. Big congratulations. Now we start the Hanuman Chalisa and seek Lord Rama's blessings. Please don't leave till the end, till we sing together. So we'll meet again.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाँ ते कवि को विद कही सके कहाँ थे तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
We'll meet again for the interpretation session of next chapter, same time. Till then, Shubharatri, good night, Jai Shri Krishna, Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.